Come on, babies. First things first. It's not your bubble I want to burst. I know waiting is a pain. I don't mean to be your bane. Without it, though, there is no gain. You think it's gonna rain?
Whoa! What does that mean?
What the heck does that mean?
Thank you for, making the time to let me reach out to you and have a little interview about your past work. It means a lot to me.
Thanks. I mean, I appreciate it on this level only because there's been no one, I never really talked about it because no one ever asked me, so there you go.
I get what you mean. I'm surprised, though, because, I guess the thing is that, because it only aired twice, right, on Cartoon Network, so it wasn't...
Exactly.
They
tried to snuffle it. It wasn't a good experience. They screwed it up because they changed it. They said, my original concept was lots of nudity, drugs, incest, like all this crazy stuff, psychedelic, just outrageous psychedelia. And they were like, we really think you should do stuff. We see your stuff for kids. And I was so eager to make something happen. I just went along with it. And so they, just made me change it. So I was trying to do something for kids that adults could also enjoy, because there's nothing, I do enjoy cartoons and shows, whatever, that you can watch with a kid, but still have different levels of things. That's what I was trying to do. And then, after it was ready, they were like, oh, they didn't even tell me. All of a sudden, it's like on Adult Swim. It's like, why is it on Adult Swim? And basically, I never spoke to anyone again at Cartoon Network, even though we were having lunches and meetings and constant about it, chatter, and they were like, do this, do that, we need to see this, and then, boom, it goes on Adult Swim. They aired it. I thought they only aired it once, but you said twice. They aired it twice. But I never spoke to anyone there ever again, and I don't own it. And until now, I couldn't definitely not even think about affording to buy it. They wanted $200,000 or more to get it. And so basically, it was like, I tell people that it was like having a baby and having to throw it in the gutter and just drive away.
Jesus.
That's how it felt.
I see what you mean. I'm sorry to hear about that.
What?
I'm sorry that they gave you such a hard time about that. Like the way they mistreated you.
It's so weird because it's so rude. If you're working with somebody, at least say, hey, you know what? We don't like it. It didn't work out or whatever. But just the silent treatment is very weird and disconcerting. And in my opinion, it's rude.
Wow.
So I'm very bitter. But I'm happy to talk about it. Sorry.
When watching it, I do get those vibes from it. There's I thought it was originally meant for kids kind of, but with an adult edge, because a lot of 90s, early 2000s cartoons are like that,
Yeah, well, that's exactly what you said is what I... Basically, I loved Pee Wee Herman's show. When I would watch it with my kids, it was like, oh my God, they don't even understand. It went over their heads, which is so great because it's fun to watch that.
Yeah.
But so I was trying to kind of mimic that a little bit, which I liked so much.
How did you come to get Paul Rubens and RuPaul and Dennis Hopper involved in it, and the B-52s?
Because they were friends of mine.
The B-52s as well?
And by the way, it was the first cartoon you can look that had celebrities as voices.
Oh, I get you. That's pretty
and
cool.
It was also the first CGI on TV cartoon. And by the way, it was nominated for an Emmy Award. And I'm fine that it lost because it lost to Ray Harryhausen. So that's not so bad if you're going to lose to Ray Harryhausen post-mortem.
What was the budget like for the project initially?
I don't know. I wasn't really part of that. I know that in the early days of CGI, it took a lot more people and probably more money to create characters that you could animate. And that's why I was really puzzled why they would walk away from it, because really when you're creating CGI, it's like making puppets. So you create all this time and energy and expense into making the puppets, and then you only use them once.
Yeah.
It's like they're ready to go, and then you walk away from it. And literally, I spent hours like on a pair of shoes. I was sitting in a room with like 10 guys, driving them crazy, you know. Now it's much easier. Now the technology's changed so much, but then it was in the early days, and it took a lot of effort to do that.
Jordan Rychek, who's worked on like a few cartoon pilots, he was involved in this, right? As production and writing?
Jordan was the director. Or co-director, I'm not even sure. Whatever the title was. Jordan walked me through it, helped me through it. I never had experience working with a studio, let alone, you know, making a storyline. And, you know, I'm much more, it was hard for me to make characters like it was back then. I think when people thought of animation, you kind of had to do a traditional, like you have a family or you have a set of characters, and you want them to reoccur, and you want them to be able to make a you know, toys out of it. And like I was much more, you know, I wanted this. Well, I still do, and I'm actually starting to do it. But thinking about just animation as an art form and something amazing to look at and inspiring with music and yada yada yada. So it was hard for me to keep it within the boundaries that they wanted me to do.
Would you ever consider like returning to the animation world? Like, do you have more ideas for cartoons you would ever want to try out?
Yes, I have a million ideas, and I pitched a million times since then to different, you know, basically up until recently, we needed these studios and these studio people to create this kind of thing. And so the good thing is we don't anymore. So yeah, I have a million different ideas that I had pitched. I still have more traditional animation. But at the same time, I'm starting to delve a little bit into, I mean, literally I have thousands and thousands of images of paintings that I've done over the years. And each painting I think of as a animation, in that it could, when you're looking at it, you could be looking at the end, the beginning, the middle. And I see it like all these years I've been seeing these nifty kind of animations, just short little blurbs with some sound, but it didn't really work with the studio system. But then all of a sudden now, what we're making for this nifty world is exactly what I have been wanting to do all these years. So I just dropped a nifty, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, little animation based on a painting. I've also done an animation that's shown on the light box of the Chinese theater on Hollywood Boulevard. And it was commissioned by the owner of the Chinese theater, and they also show it in between films there. So I've been, you know, and that's also based on a painting where it's just kind of a loop. So I have all these paintings that could become these kind of loops where they just keep going and going, but it's very short, and it's kind of like what's happening with this whole nifty stuff, and it's kind of interesting because it's kind of what I've been thinking about all these years, not knowing that the technology was going to catch up and I would be ready with all my imagery.
And it's especially easier nowadays where so much more technology is available at your fingertips, where you can just do so much more independent work. It gives you much more options.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Who needs the studios? You know, I never needed anybody approval, and then all of a sudden I needed all this approval from these people that obviously didn't really have the care, let's just say.
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't really support the vision as much. It's about profit.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
And
they think they're doing it for profit, and they don't even know. They don't know what's going to be profitable. How do they know that the one I had in mind wasn't going to be profitable?
Yeah.
Probably would have been. Because it wasn't stifled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the way they cut things down, like they water things down to make it
Exactly.
quote unquote marketable, and that's what kills like the heart to it.
Everything. Exactly. That's what kills everything. Makes it all boring. Yeah.
Did you ever have ideas for like a second episode, a third episode, like the series going forward?
Yeah, and it's funny because I did. It was just basic. I don't even remember specifically, but basically it would be following the two characters, Jet and Glindy, maybe to get kicked out of their apartment Maybe there's a million things here. They go to another planet, search of something. Or maybe they have to go back home and live with their parents again. I mean, who the hell knows? It just could go on and on. It's like you create the characters, as I said, like puppet show, and you could just go forever. And that's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Well, I really appreciate you calling me and giving me this insight on the show. I just wanted to say, like...
Well, I appreciate your interest in it. You're the first one.
Because I first found out about it when I was, like 13 or something, and I saw it, and it just intrigued me, like, all of it. I always had, like, a fondness for, like, I guess to say, like, lost media or, like, old cartoons, and I was like, that's interesting. It's, like, stuck in my core memory.
Jordan's. Yeah, we kept it a little bit old style, even though it was CGI. Like, they were almost like puppets.
Yeah, I dug the retro style to it. Like, I saw somewhere that you wanted to blend your style of surrealism with, like, the Jetsons, and I definitely get that vibe from it, you know?
I would like to see the thing have another life. I still think it could, because they're puppets. So I'm not going to give up on it, but they have to come to me a little bit, I think.
Definitely, yeah. You don't want to force it.
I don't know anyone there anymore, and I don't talk to them anyway. They stopped talking to me, so what am I talking about? But who knows? Whatever. Definitely. I got other tricks up my sleeve. It's not like I stopped. That was so many years ago.
I definitely look forward to seeing a continuation of that or any other animation that you want to go with forward. You said one project you were working on was called Nifty, right?
Yeah, Nifty Gateway, these NFTs. So if you look on my Instagram, I think about a week ago I posted the little animation that was used on the Nifty. So check it out.
I see what you mean. I'll definitely take a look at that soon.
All right.
But thank you again so much. I really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Thank you for being interested, as I said. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more commentary about shows, movies, or any other media, leave a comment below, and be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out. Keep it groovy, y'all.